Oops. It's been so long since I've been doing my show. I'm forgetting how to do stuff. Hold on a second here. Where is What the Fuck Sunday? Here we go. Right there. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to God. Look at I cannot get myself together. I already put the thing to start a little bit later because I couldn't get my act together. But hey, what can I say? Stuff happens. What's up? I see some faces in here I haven't seen for a minute. But of course, nobody's seen me for a minute, so let me shut up. I can't say nothing. Let's get started with our questions because, as usual, this cover page says we have 25 questions. For those of you who are not familiar with this format, been doing the show for like, I don't know, since 2008 or something like that, before YouTube got bought by Google, long time ago, when YouTube was a standalone company. I came on here and I started this channel and I did a couple of shows. I didn't really do that much because I was on Blog Talk at the time and really active on my blog. So I was, kind of spread thin. But this channel has been around since then. And but I didn't really start using it that much until about maybe 2017, something like that, 2016. And so here we go. This is where we are now. And yes, people say you should have a lot more subscribers, but it's like, with more subscribers comes more drama. That's what I have discovered. I like having a nice core group of people that are interested, respectful, they contribute something positive to the channel in the comment section, during the chat streams, during the calls. They have something, to add to the environment here, and they try to they here and they welcome new people. It's a good core group of people here. Not like I'm turning people away, but I'm just saying when I saw the numbers really jump up a lot, it just knuckleheads galore was coming up in here. So that was not fun. Oh, Leandra's here. Oh no. Oh no. So, it is what it is though. But we got 25 questions, so let's get going on this warm summer afternoon here in the Bay Area. Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the papas out there, and those of you who still have your papas. I hope you give them a lot of love today. So let's get started. Question number 1. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group from Dallas, Texas. And remember, there's a lot of these people, they want your guys, opinions and comments too. If you're on YouTube and you can participate in the chat, feel free to do so. I think, some of the other platforms you can chat to, but it won't show up here. That's because I'm streaming to multiple places. It won't show up here, but you can still, chat away. All right. So she wants to know, she's 28 to 34 from Dallas, Texas. She wants to know why men are so terrified of rejection. Well, my God, this is a loaded question. As a woman who's never had a boyfriend and who has been rejected more times than I can count, I don't see what the big deal is. As a tall Black woman, I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I don't shy away from making my feelings known if I'm attracted to someone. I don't think it's the end of the world if they say no. I hear time and time again that men don't want to approach women because they're scared of rejection. I just want to understand why. Is dating that different for men? I know women have an easier time on dating apps and things like that. I've tried it, but it just seems like a lot of men would just hump anything female, then ghost you the next day, which really doesn't feel like interest because it's not. I've never had someone show true interest in me in real life, and I've just accepted that dating will be harder for me. I don't find rejection that intimidating, so I'm just curious why this seems to be a big issue with men, or maybe it's not. I don't know what to make of it. Your thoughts, please. Well, I have talked about this. I can't even tell you how many, like 50, 11 times, broken this down. As a matter of fact, there's some videos on the channel about men and their scariness and cowardice and all of that. But the only thing I can tell you is this. See, when you have this, and I just let me just be blunt because you know I don't do politeness well on this channel. When you have this overly inflated opinion of your wonderfulness and your perfection and how you think everybody should want you because you just living in a fantasy world, then of course if someone rejects you, it's going to hit you harder because it flies against everything that you've told yourself about how great you are, right? That's why they get angry when women tell them because it's like, what? You're not reflecting back the wonderfulness on me that I thought I had. And so, hey, Linda, welcome to the show. And that's what it is. It's their ego all tied up in it. Even though now keep this in mind too, even though they can take rejection real well when it comes from like for a job application or they trying to get credit for a car or they apply for apartment or they apply for a mortgage. Oh, that's no problem. That's they in a competition at work to see whose proposal is gonna win and who's gonna get the client and all that. I mean they might be a little disappointed, but they don't flip off the handle and want to go and just, drink about it and call people names and all this kind of stuff. They don't do all that. But for some reason, when it's women, see, because in their mind, we're beneath them, that we need them, we can't do anything without them. We define we're defined as women because of them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then when we say no, we say, I don't want you to be bothered with you. You're not what I'm looking for. I don't want to be bothered. Get away from me. These kind of things when a woman rejects them, they just crumble. They can't take it. They just cannot take it. Oh, well, thank you, Best Life. That's always good to hear that, when somebody comes back and tells me that some of this work that I'm doing actually helped them. Thank you. So that to me is what the root cause of it is. They've gotten themselves into the state of mind where they think they all that. And so when you as a woman come along and tell them no, you're not, they just be like clutching their pearls and just having a hard time, accepting it. So, but I understand what you mean though. It's like, women just are more emotionally resilient than most men are. I mean, that's why you see a woman, she'll go on, like, she'll break up with somebody, well, most women will break up with somebody and, I mean, she'll be sad for a little while and stuff, have an ice cream sleepover with her friends and, just cry and go to the gym more or something. But in general, we move on. We not gonna sit around thinking about you for years and years. A dude will be in his 50s and 60s and still talking about the girl who rejected him in high school when he was 15. They hang on to that stuff. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Excuse me. So that is the root of it. It's their ego, their false sense of their greatness. And when you say no or you reject them or you're not interested, it crashes butt up against their fantasy of who and what they are and their greatness. And they just have a really hard time dealing with that. What do you mean I'm not great? Oh my God. She said that I'm not great. Well, she can't possibly be right. Right. So and that's my opinion. Now somebody else may have a different one, but from everything I've seen over the last, like since before I even started doing this advice column, I was just like a regular person dating and going around and dealing with men, and plus my brothers and their friends and stuff. My brothers were too much of players though; they didn't really trip about women like that. Oh no, look who just came in here to ruin my day. But most guys just really struggle with that. They put so much into their little approach and asking you out and stuff. They have their whole life on the line and everything. Yes, giggles. I see you. Question number 2. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group from Brighton in the UK. Summary of issue. How can I approach my sister regarding her partner's behavior? My sister's partner has made a few social media posts calling my sister his B. Oh, she's 45 and he is 10 years younger, closer to my age. So he's 35. Okay. My family and I are pretty offended. How do I approach this? The situation is sensitive as one, he has recently been caught cheating and now they're trying to resolve things. And number two, my sister is not on speaking terms with my parents due to the cheating because he is not welcome at my parents' house. I want to call this guy out, but don't want to push my sister away. Any ideas? Don't worry about pushing your sister away because your sister is stupid. Okay. So what you need to do is say, sis, we need to go to lunch or something and have a conversation. And you're gonna ask her questions. That's always my approach. You don't tell them stuff, you ask questions. You might say, for example, say, sis, when you were thinking about the kind of relationship that you wanted to have, was this it? Was this what you pictured? Well, sis, when a guy cheats on you, what do you think is going through his mind that makes him think that that's okay? Well, sis, see what I mean? So you want to ask her questions because you want to like breadcrumb her into thinking about this in a logical, sane way. It's like, sister, when a guy talks to you, calls you names like that and everything, would you tolerate somebody doing that to me? And see what she says. It does that to you? Does that show love and respect? And see what she says. So you're not going to make not one statement. Do you hear me? You keep your mouth shut because if you start making statements, well, we think and I think and the pops and moms think, then you're gonna what you talking about being alienating her. That's really gonna happen. So what you want to do is look concerned. Practice your expressions. You want to look worried. You want to make sure you hug her, and you want to ask these questions. And if she's gonna say, "Why are you asking so many questions?" Say, "Because I'm just trying to understand um, what it is that you are getting out of this. I just want, I'm on your side. I want to make sure I understand though. What are we doing here, and why are we doing it? And then you explain it to me. Then we'll be on the same team. You're my sister. I'll always be on your team. Stuff like that. You want to reassure her. But when you don't want to go in there judging, condemning, trying to call him out, you're not going to do none of that, okay? Because it's not your business, really. She's older than you. So, but just on a curiosity tip, I sure would want to know what she's thinking because I just don't get it. You probably make a post calling me your bitch and see how many seconds you get to still have me in your life. It's going to be so rapid, your head will swim. Question number 3. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group from Toronto, Canada. Summary of issue. My boyfriend is almost 38 with no job, no license, and lives on a couch. Do I stick around? Is this a trick? This must be, I'm being trolled. I'm a 28-year-old Black woman living in Toronto. My boyfriend is Arab. He's 37, almost 38. And while he has a lot of good qualities, he's kind, smart, and full of potential. I'm struggling with some serious issues. Okay. I'll shut up until I finish. Okay. He has a history of substance use. While he's been clean for years, he occasionally uses, think snowflake. He lives in his parents' basement. Oh my God, not a basement dweller. Sleeping on the couch. He doesn't work. He lost his driver's license. He sleeps all day and is up all night. Meanwhile, I'm educated, working, and have a lot going for me. I love him and truly believe in his potential. Oh boy. At 38, no, wait, you're 28. Okay, he's 38. Wow. And you still believe in potential? And part of me thinks I can help him turn things around. But another part of me is scared that I'm holding myself back by staying in this relationship. Do I move on or keep trying to help him? I need real talk. Be brutally honest with me like you would with a close friend. I can take it. No, you can't. No, you cannot take it because, like, if I were there with you right now, I'd be asking, what kind of dumbass bitch are you? What kind of shit is this? What the hell are you doing? This is a loser with a capital L. I mean, just like right there on his forehead. The guy, his parents don't even make him do anything. And you think you gonna do something with yourself 10 years younger than him? Please wake the fuck up and get rid of this fool. Now, see what I was gonna say? And I know you was like, what? what I was going to say earlier is, a lot of black women get caught in this trap when they have a man who looks really good. And like, I'm sorry, because I know y'all be like tripping when I say stuff like this. But when I was in the South, what I saw a lot of was the very dark skinned sisters with these light skinned curly headed dudes with the gray, green, hazel eyes. They would take any kind of bullshit from these men because of the way that he looked and the colorism issue that was so prevalent at that time. We're talking in the late 80s. So I'm telling you, I just had never seen no shit like that. But it was very common. All kinds of nonsense. I mean, just gross disrespect because of the way that the guy looked. They would even talk about it on like radio call-in shows and stuff. Well, he's light skinned, did, which is the first time I actually heard somebody use that phrase. I was like, what? The guy I was dating, I was like, what is it? What did she just say? And he started laughing. He said, "Oh, you from California? You don't know nothing about all that. As light skinned, it means he's got light color skin." I'm like, where all them extra did come in at? So we had a good laugh about it, but I will never forget hearing that. The first time I heard it was a radio call-in show, one of those nighttime love type of shows you dedicate songs. It was one of those. So I don't know, what you didn't say what your nationality was. And you just say you're a black person in Canada, so you could be anything. But you need to wake up, okay? You are just wasting your time, wasting your energy, and just let your lifespan be utilized by a loser, okay? You can't help a grown ass man, especially one that's older than you. The only people that you can help are toddlers, babies, okay, little kids, not no grown ass man. There's nothing you can do to help him. Stop it. Question number 4. This is a female, the 20. Ooh, that just 22 to 27 from Calgary, Canada. Summary of issue. I want to close our open relationship, but my partner doesn't want to, and it's making me extremely insecure and depressed. Well, you stupid. What you do that shit for? Soon as he started talking that nonsense, you were supposed to deuce out because that wasn't the relationship that you wanted, right? So why did you do that? See, these women drive me crazy. It's like the gross disrespect they accept just to stay in a relationship. It's amazing to me. I can't even fathom the kind of stuff that they take to stay in a relationship. I just don't get it. Oops, that reminds me. I was supposed to send a hold on a second. So I had a happy Father's Day uh greeting too. Y'all know my little friend Ken. I was supposed to tell Kenny Ray, uh, happy Father's Day. Let me do it right now before I forget. There it is. Happy Father's Day. Still I'm doing my show, so I can't talk to him right now. Okay, there. I meant to do that earlier. I just forgot. So anyway, see me multitasking. Oh, this is just sad. So she says she's 26 and he's 29, and they've been together for 3 years. Since we got together, we had an open relationship, which was mutually agreed upon. It was working well for us as we lived long distance, and it was what we both wanted. However, at the beginning of last year, in April, I found that I was pregnant with his baby, and he moved in with me in July. 6 months into the pregnancy, I realized that I no longer wanted to be in an open relationship as we were living together and having a baby together in December. I voiced this to him, and it ended up being turned into an argument as he didn't want to close it, and that was the end of the conversation. After our baby was born, I brought it up again as if he was willing to close it, and there was no discussion about it, only an argument, which led to him going to bed and us not talking about it anymore that night. We talked about it again about 4 months ago, and he said he would think about it, but once again, nothing came from it, and I never got a definitive answer. Yes, you did. Like, no, you want to hear the word, again, I guess, but when they don't give you an answer, that means no. Okay. But it sounded like he was making it more closed by deleting his dating apps, but he didn't give me an answer as to whether it was officially closed. And he said, what does it matter if it's closed or not? Yeah, see, it's not. Last night it came up again. He made a comment that it would most likely stay open, which was the first I'd even heard since the last conversation about it. And about the answer, I've been waiting months to find out. And he was saying how he hadn't been thinking about it. It turned into more of an argument. He was saying how if he were to close it, that he wouldn't be happy with that and would just be doing it because it's what I want to do, and he would be miserable. I just don't know what to do because right now I'm miserable with it being open. I feel as though I'm just not enough or good enough for him to fully settle down and only be with me and actually want to only be with me. When I ask him why he wants to keep it open, he just gets defensive and never really has a reason. It's starting to really get to me, and I'm constantly anxious, sad. I can feel myself getting more frustrated by the situation as I don't understand why I'm not good enough for him to want to close it. I just don't know what to do, and I'm so lost right now and need any advice on what I can do as I want him to be happy because I love him and I want a relationship for work, us to work for us and our son. But I also want to feel happy. But there just doesn't seem to be a way in this situation that will make us both happy. I want to avoid breaking up because I love him. We have a baby boy together. What can I do? You're gonna break up anyway. Either you're gonna break up now or you're gonna break up when you get some dreadful disease. But either way, this is a crash and burn. You're just prolonging the agony by, keep asking him and asking him and asking him, but he's already told you it's not gonna happen. I don't know how many times you need to hear that before you believe him. Now see, the mistake that you made was having that baby. Because see, you could escape this nonsense free and clear and went on to be with somebody else and have kids with him and have a happy marriage that was closed. But no, that's not what you did. Because you feel loved, even though you weren't going to get respected, you decided to have a kid and bring a child into that hot mess of a relationship. I don't know what you were thinking, because even when, like once you long distance and you guys are dating other people, see, to me, that's that's a booty call. That's not a relationship. When you have other people involved like that, that's super casual and nothing to really invest emotions in. That's my own standard of a relationship. So with that, you went into it knowing that that's what you guys had, and then you moved in together. He moved in together when you got pregnant. See, what you were supposed to do is dip out on that baby and never tell him that you was pregnant. That's what you were supposed to do. So you fucked yourself over. This is unfortunate. I don't know what to tell you, girlfriend. Question number 5. Female, 20 to 34, Los Angeles, California. Oh, this part here too, I forgot. She says, I want to avoid breaking up because I love him and we have a baby together. It's not up to you. It's going to be up to him because once he gets sick of you whining about it being closed, he's going to dump you. And then you're going to be stuck in love with a man that don't want you and with a baby that he don't want either because he want to be free to fuck around. That's what he wants. He hasn't told you that bluntly like I just did, but that's essentially what he's communicating. Okay? Get wise up, understand what time it is. So either shut up and deal with the open relationship or do out and get you a man who wants a close relationship like you do and who will sign on to be that kid's stepfather. That's what you need. Now, question number 5. This is a female, 28 to 34, age group from Los Angeles, California. So issue, how should I react? I just found out that my husband is pro-life. Wow. And you didn't know that before you got married? Or are you going to say he changed? Let's see. I'll cut it short. I just found out that my husband is pro-life. I'm pro-choice, and he even said that if I were to get S8 and get pregnant, I would have to give birth. Like he controls that. I'm just surprised because he's very open and not religious at all. I never realized that before. I don't know, maybe he's showing his real side now. I don't know what to think. How should I react? Well, you should have told him. You should have laughed in his face when he said what you would have to do. You would say, excuse me, I'm not a slave and you don't own me. If I don't want to have a kid, even if it's yours, I'm going to get rid of it. It doesn't matter to me what you think because you don't have a uterus. So you don't have an opinion in this situation. This is all my choice, my decision, my life. It'll be my body, having the baby and carrying it and risking death to bear a child and all the other complications that women have from pregnancy and delivery. That would be me doing all of that. My life on the line, my body on the line, not yours. So I'm the only one that's going to be making this decision, and you can have an opinion, I suppose. But I just want you to know nobody cares. Nobody thinks gives 2 cents on credit about your opinion about what I should do with my body. So now, if that's too much for you to accept, we can make an appointment to go down to the divorce court and handle this shit real quick. Because one thing I don't want is somebody who thinks they're gonna be a dictator and tell me what to fucking do. That's not gonna happen, son. That's what you're supposed to tell him, like right then and there on the spot, so he would know what time it was. But instead, you come running to me and acting all cowardly and scared to speak up. You don't never let some man tell you what to fucking do with your body. You don't even let them tell you what to do with your clothes, your makeup, your hair, your nails, nothing. They have no opinion. They don't get to have one. If you don't like what's going on over here, get your shit and get the fuck out. That's the answer that every man should get. There's 9 bazillion women in the world. Go pick you one that's gonna do that shit, because that's not me. Okay, that's what I always tell them. I'm not lit. I'm not doing it. Hey, diva, not doing it. So but you guys, you give them too much power over you. There's no way he should have been able to say that to you and just walk away with his chest stuck out thinking that he done, laid down some law or some shit. You you better get yourself together and find your voice. That's how you should react. Go back and tell him what I just said. Say, I've been giving that some thought, and what you said really pissed me off. That's why I didn't say anything right away. But let me tell you something. And then you tell him what I just said. Okay. Question number 6. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group from Half Moon Bay, California. So I have an issue. Why do people come back for a second chance after ending things? I feel so disrespected because you don't block them. That's your fault. You left the door open for them to come back. Okay, so then you want to play victim like, oh my God, why are they coming back? Let's see what other nonsense you did. I'm a bit emotionally exhausted. In the span of 4 months, 3 men who ended things with me reached out wanting to start things again. One after 2 years, another after 1 year, and the third after 3 months of no contact. I indulged the first guy, but it messed me up pretty badly, and we decided to stop talking. I have a lot of trauma from that relationship, and I started having nightmares again when I spoke to him. Well, then what did you do that for? I ignored the other two because I just felt so tired and done. I feel so disrespected. They had a shot with me and they blew it, and now they want me back. I'm not a toy that when they get bored they can discard me. When they miss me, they find me in the garage on the shelf. That's right. I'm so disappointed because these men are in their late 20s and should be emotionally mature. No, they don't get mature until about 36, if at all. I used to think I was the problem because I'm always single, but now I think it's the illusion of having options. I just wanted to rant. I know this is a common issue. Okay, well, I let I understand your rant, but I'm telling you the responsibility to mitigate this and change the outcome here is 100% on you. When you break up with a man or he breaks up with you, you are supposed to immediately go into your phone, your email, and all your social media pages, and you block him and anyone connected with him. His boss, his coworkers that you got, his buddy, his next door, but his best friend, his best friend's girlfriend, all of those people that were connected with that individual get immediately deleted and blocked from your or blocked, whatever you don't do it. So that they can't call you, they can't text you, they can't email you, they can't post on your social media. That's what you're supposed to do. But you girls don't do that. You just break up and then you leave all those doors open for these guys to come around and fuck over you again and again. And you don't do anything to prevent it. You don't do anything to protect yourself. So see, when I see that over and over, and then you want to write me about it, everybody heard about block parties. You know what that means. So you not doing it, and you want to complain about the dudes coming back because you knew they was trash. That's why you wasn't with them no more. And then you let leave the door open to come back in. Those weren't even girlfriends. It was women that they was chasing after they wanted something new tail. That's what that was. And then, they just men sometimes do that. They just go through their well, I used to be a black book, but now it's, in your phone. They scroll through their phones and just start randomly dialing people, or they'll randomly send you a message on social media to see A, if you still thinking about them, and B, if you still single or with somebody, because C, to see if there's any opportunity for them to come slide through and tap that ass. That's what that is all about. So that's why they should be all blocked immediately so they can't treat you like that. But if you don't respect yourself enough to block them and prevent them from being able to even try to use you, then that's on you. I can't help you. You didn't do what you were supposed to fucking do. And so this is the outcome. These are repercussions. You do better. They want some booty. It's not even about. I guess the ego stroke could be some booty, but that's all they want. That's how come they all had the same script. If you ever notice, they come through the door reminiscing about the past and talking about, oh, it was a mistake. I should have never left. It was so good with you. I was stupid. I was young and dumb. I just didn't know. And blah blah blah. Do you think there's another chance for me? Could we start again? It's the same stuff over and over. And then, but a lot of women are young, and so they never heard the dragon drama before, so they think it's new. They think it's real, that the guy is saying something that they should be listening to. And so, they bite. And they see, the dude is over and, he's pawing on them and, you know, and then, so that might last a week or two. Then he's going to be like, well, that was great. And he's going to go on to the next one. It never lasts. It never lasts. So I don't know what to tell you. Let's move on to question number 7. This young lady is 22 to 27. She's in Nebraska. Sorry of issue. My mother has ruined my engagement and is on track to ruin my future marriage. Well, why are you letting her do all that? I'm 22. What you 22 try to get married is too young anyway. And my fiance is 24. We just got engaged about 2 months ago after being together for a year. Since the very beginning of our relationship, it's been a constant uphill battle with my mom. Now it's to the point where my fiance is outright refusing to have her at the wedding. After my fiance and I began dating, I told my mom about him and I was excited about this new relationship. Some of her biggest gripes were that he's nothing more in her mind than a backwoods redneck. Whoa. And essentially that I'm too good for him. But the biggest thing that's been the nail in the coffin is that him and his family used to be longtime Jehovah's Witnesses. Ever since I told her this, she has held on to it and used it as ammo in every single argument that she and I have had. Like, for example, she asked me if my fiance did any sports growing up. I told her no, really wasn't his thing, and that he always just loved and enjoyed doing the construction that he does now and never took that much interest in sports. She clutched her pearls because, of course, he hasn't done any sports since he couldn't do anything that would put him around people that weren't JW. I know this is true within the religion, but this is not how they operated growing up, and they left the church when he was relatively young. I've tried to explain this is not true, but she won't accept it. Example B, since announcing our engagement, she told me that getting married like I'm as young as I am is her second worst nightmare. When I told her our initial wedding date, she asked why we were rushing it. I told her we just didn't feel the need to wait and were really excited about getting married. She grilled me and said I must be pregnant and what happened to having a long engagement. She had generally said some pretty horrible and nasty things about my fiance and his family. A therapist told me that she may have undiagnosed narcissistic personality disorder and or borderline personality disorder. Wow, your mom's a nutcase. She told me many times in rages to have a nice life and to go enjoy being with my new family. Okay, so anyway, she just wrote a damn fucking novel. The fiance hates it with a passion. This brings us to now where my fiance decided to postpone our wedding indefinitely, ultimately because of me and my mother, until I can learn to have the ability to stand up for myself in our relationship. The reason why is when I told my mother the date, she said it was too soon and she didn't want to do a shabby job. So she would help me with the wedding. I asked if we moved it back a couple of weeks if she would, and she said yes. So I asked my fiance if we could move to accommodate more availability from vendors. While this was true, after more prying, I told her that my mother had suggested it and wanted her to be a part of the wedding as well. My fiance is angry that I broke our trust by not being forthcoming, and the real reason why I suddenly wanted to move the date out of nowhere, for not standing up to my mom and for letting her have her way over our wedding, and ultimately for letting her influence my thinking about our relationship. Ever since then, we've been arguing pretty consistently. The entire thing has really got us just feeling sour and bitter about the whole wedding and engagement. He admits he feels some resentment towards me because none of this is his doing, and his heart still wants to marry me more than anything because he realizes the impossible situation that I'm in. But he also needs me to prove that I'm willing and able to stand up to my mom for our relationship and that I'm going to be loyal to him and not my mother. I just feel so sick and anxious over this whole thing. My mom is my only family. My dad left when I was 14, and she's not close with any of her siblings, and all my grandparents are gone. I have no idea what to do. I really need some advice and opinions. How do I prove myself to my fiance? How do I stick up to my mother? How do I put our relationship first while still keeping a relationship with her? Can I salvage a relationship with both of them? My mom has made a lot of sacrifices for me, like being the parent that stayed when my dad left. That's what a fucking ass is supposed to do. What the hell? You trying to give her some flowers for that? She's the one that laid up there and made you. Her ass is supposed to take care of you. The hell? But I love my fiance more than anything. And I hate that told us it's taking them both. No, you're not ready to get married because you still too tied to your mother. You don't understand. When you get married, your family becomes your husband. Okay, that's your number one family. Your mother is second in line. Okay, I don't know what you expect me to say. This is not going to work because you're too wimpy and you let your mother run you. When your mother said that she couldn't help with the wedding, you're supposed to say, "Oh, that's okay. We'll handle it. We're adults. We can do it ourselves. We don't need you to do anything. You just show up if you want to, and not if you don't. It doesn't matter to me. You do what you want to do." When you went over there big mouthing, telling her about your husband's family, see, that was a violation. You were not supposed to do that. You don't go and start tattletale and run off at the mouth, telling your mother about your man and his people. That's not her fucking business. If they wanted her to know, they would have told her themselves. But you over there spilling all kind of beans, don't know when to fucking shut up. You don't tell your parents everything. It's not their business about your man and his family. At some point, you need to grow up and you're going to have to put a separation between you and your mother. So what? She's your only family. When does that ever stop somebody from acting a fool? And you ought to be suspicious anyway because she's not close with any of her siblings. So she done tore draws with them too. See, you're not looking at this right. Your mother is toxic, and you bringing all that, letting her bring all her toxicity into your relationship with your. Pretty soon, it's gonna be your ex-fiance. That's what's gonna happen to you because you're just stupid. Okay. Question number 8. This is sad. Grow up, girl. Grow up. Female 35 to 42 from Cardiff, Wales. Summary of issue. Some men like bigger women in private but won't claim them in public. Why? Because men and they little cowardly egos. I mean, they need the approval of other men. That's why they do things the way that they do them. Hey, Devin Squad, I've been thinking about something that's bothered me for a while. I want to open up the conversation here. There seems to be this weird dynamic where some men are very much into bigger women, but only in private. They'll slide into your DMs, they flirt with you, they even hook up with you. When it comes to public acknowledgement, silence, or worse yet, ridicule. I don't know if it's because people assume that bigger girls should hate themselves or feel lucky to be desired, but let me be clear. I do not hate myself. I used to be slim. I gained the weight back over time, and now I'm slowly losing it again for medical reasons. So, yes, my weight has been a health issue. But the bigger issue, the people who seek validation from others by hiding were the very women that they're attracted to. That's right, validation. I take pride in the fact that I've worked hard on myself mentally and emotionally. I've done the work to get to a place where I don't feel unworthy of love just because of how much I weigh. That self worth wasn't handed to me, I had to build it. And I refuse to let someone's fear of judgment tear it down. Being treated like a secret while being mocked in public is not okay. If you're truly attracted to someone, why don't you own it? Don't turn around and belittle them in front of your friends just so you feel accepted. Have any thoughts? Yes. I personally think, and this is not meant to be an insult, I think that men who put down women to get the approval and kudos and pats on the back and love and acceptance from other men are secretly gay. They just still not in the closet yet because they pay more attention. They need more acknowledgement and they need more kudos and back pats and attention from other men than they do from the woman who's going to be their lady. That is my personal opinion because you can't tell me that a guy who's really into women would be like that. We want to put women down like that. So, when they skip like when I see dudes that do stuff like that, I give them the side eye because it's like, whose approval are you trying to get? Whose approval is it that you want so bad? And why do you want it? Why is what other dudes think so of such, importance to you? It's a real good question for them to ask. Hold on a second. Okay. Now, um, and and that's also, I think, a cultural thing because in certain cultures, the men prefer the women to be, curvier, have like hips and thighs, and they like a little tummy. I mean, not they don't have to be like the kind that hangs over or sticks out like Santa, but they not tripping about that kind of stuff. And others like girls that look like string beans. To me, that's androgynous, like women who look like boys from the back. They like that. Not saying it's the ladies' fault. I'm just saying, what once again, the guys like all the stuff and they don't like 'em. The curvy girls, they're gonna put them down, although they be sliding around with them. They don't want to acknowledge them in public. There's something going on there. So I think you're touching the surface, but this goes a lot deeper. When men want to get the approval of other men, more so than they want the approval of the woman that they're sleeping with, you have someone with questionable sexuality orientation. He just hasn't admitted it yet. He's looking for those people to like him instead of you. Okay. Question number 9. This is a male in the 22 to 27 age group from Stoke-on-Trent in the UK. Summer issue. Rejecting a woman helped me stop taking it personally. I'm a 25-year-old white guy and I've always struggled with rejection. Oh, like the first letter we had. I used to internalize it like it meant something was wrong with me and overcorrect every time trying to fix myself instead of just seeing it as two people not being a match. But this time that she was on the other foot and I had to do the rejecting, it helped me realize that rejection isn't easy for anyone, even if for the one doing the rejecting. Earlier this week, I matched with this girl on an app. Compared to the usual low effort replies I get, she was engaged by asking questions back, showed interest, kept the conversation going, etc. I invited her out to play pool and she accepted. A bit later, she asked if we could do something shorter like dinner instead since she'd be traveling back to her hometown soon and needed time to pack that day. Normally, I don't FaceTime after already setting up a date, but I had a strong gut feeling that I should. I didn't want to go on a dinner date with an idealized version of her in my head, and I figured a quick call would help gauge our vibe more realistically. The call lasted 30 minutes. We bantered well, just like in text, but unfortunately, I walked away feeling uncertain. I didn't feel a sense of excitement to see her in person, but instead felt a little drained. After thinking it through, I realized we are at very different places in life. I'm working full time, working on goals like buying a house and eventually want to settle down. She's still in school, wants to focus on her career first, as she should. She then admitted she only put, quote, long term relationship on her profile to filter out guys that are only looking for hookups and that she's just figuring out her dating goals but is focused on her career. I kept debating about whether I should go on a date anyway just to see what happens, but deep down it didn't feel right going on a date I knew I was on the fence about while she was excited from our call and couldn't wait for a date. I've ignored my gut in the past when it came to red flags or deal breakers and kept going out of either scarcity or hope that things would change, and I always regretted it. So this time I sent her a message explaining I didn't think we were aligned with what we were looking for, said it had nothing to do with her as a person and wished her the best. She took it well and wished me the same. It might sound silly, but I felt a real sense of relief and was proud of myself for listening to my intuition. Considering that this is my first time rejecting someone, I now understand how it feels for women to reject us sometimes. What do you think about my revelation? I think, well, it's fucking damn about time. How old are you again? 22 to 27, and you in the UK. Yeah, it's plenty enough time for you to get a goddamn clue that when people reject you, yeah, they cannot stand it. They just want to be, the number one. And like women don't have nothing else going on in their life except to think about men. And so when you have a woman who's not thinking about you, she's not, you're not a priority in her life. They just get all bent out of shape. They just don't understand it. Yeah, it's about time. You know what I mean? It's like this is some shit that they really should be understanding. Parents don't parent their boys right anymore. These are the kind of things fathers used to explain to their sons. So the boys went out and by the time they got old enough to start dating, they had some damn sense and understood something. But these days, I don't know, people had these free range kids that pretty much raise themselves like, they're all feral and shit. And so they get out here and start trying to date. They have no table manners. They have no social skills. They can't even hold a decent conversation. They don't know how to do back and forth. They just sit there and pontificate about themselves like, it's a fucking lecture or something. They're supposed to be on a date. I mean, the social skills of young men these days are horrible. And don't try to take them to a formal dinner or something like that. You will be so utterly embarrassed. It'll just make you just want to crawl under, have you slide down your chair under the table. It'll make you want to do that. So you just disappear. It's horrible. So I knew this lady. She had a class. Okay, the Silicon Valley, like in the '90s, it was the hotbed of the .com industry. I mean, everybody was, websites were springing up and .com, and it was just big. Okay, so here's Silicon Valley, and they had all these brilliant young men and women. They could write code and, program and do system administration, do all this stuff. I mean, they had all these kind of tech skills, but, part of that is, they had to go out with and find investors. They needed funding. So that requires you to socialize, right? They had no skills in that. So this lady started a business where she would go and she pitched it to, these .com companies, and they would send their little engineers and programmers and stuff to her class, and they would learn how to properly sit at a table, how to, do social chit chat, wine about a little bit about wine and what glass is what and all this kind of stuff. Because a lot of these kids grew up eating in front of the TV with or eating in their rooms over a computer on a paper plate. They had no skills whatsoever, none. So she made a lot of money. That was in the '90s. I don't know. I don't know whatever happened to her business, but I thought it was a brilliant idea and give them some. Yeah, she was just killing it. I think the story, when did I read about her? I think it was in the Wall Street Journal that they did a story about her. If not, it was something, maybe some local. I don't remember, but it was people still read newspapers in those days. It was in some newspaper I read about it. But yeah, this is the kind of thing, not taking rejection personally and having courage and confidence is something that parents used to teach their children and raise their sons up to have, and it just doesn't happen anymore. So let's move on. Question number 10 of 25. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group from Yuma, Arizona. Summary of issue. Dating gets so weird as you get older. Who are you telling? I've given up. I'm like, after my last blind date to them friends hooked me up with, I'm like, oh no, I can't do this no more. So this is more of a rant, but I'd like your take. I'm a 31-year-old female, and people did not lie. Dating definitely gets harder and weirder as you get older. I was also told that women turn 30 and men your age don't want you, or the good ones are married or taken, and younger men are the ones who are more interested in you. And damn, has that not been true? I'm not on dating apps anymore and met someone. He came up to me and mentioned that he was 38. We agreed to get drinks and dinner. It was fine until the conversation at dinner turned into him being impatient to get back to his place. He kept making little sexual comments, very obvious he wasn't interested in making actual conversation. And I said to him that I just met him. I wasn't going to go home with him and sleep with him. And then he got really pissy and suddenly had to call it a night because of work. I also didn't like the way he said all his exes didn't work out because they were crazy and, quote, didn't get him, end quote, and asked why I was still single at 30. Why are they like this? Well, you were supposed to fire back with your ass is 8 years older than me and you single too. So I could, don't be asking me that question. Ask your damn self. That's what I would have told her. Like, I could see if you was all hooked up and shit, but your ass is older than me and you just as single. So what you asking me that for? Try to make it like a put down? Motherfucker, for real? I don't see no ring on your finger. I love to tell men that they want to talk about that's why you single. Oh, motherfucker, when did you get married? Okay. When did you get married? When did some woman decide to ruin her life and be married to your funky ass? And they don't never had nothing to say, they just be sputtering. Like I'm not missing my words and pretending like you all of that because you asked me that question about why am I not married? Fuck marriage. Marriage is just a bunch of bullshit anyway. I mean, my husband was nice and stuff, don't get me wrong. But you notice I have not remarried? Notice that. no interest in it. I really wasn't interested in it, but that's why I turned him down 3 times. I wasn't interested in it then, but uh, it's just one of those things. He beat me down, he wore me down. But yeah, I mean, it's just I don't really see, what the big deal is, especially now. Women can do everything they need to do by themselves or with other, in partnership with other females. They don't need men. Whereas before, they had things, the society was set up so that a woman trying to be by herself was going to face a whole bunch of drama. These days, women own a gun and they get jiggy if you want to. You better be pushing up some daisies. You better bring that shit in. I was married for 7 years and with him for 3 years before that, so a total of 10 together. Yeah. But he died so long ago. Shit, that was shit. It's been 20 something years now. So no, I'm single. I do not want to be in a relationship. I'm concentrating on my career. Now I'm just concentrating on myself. I find that if I met somebody who was really cool, I mean not just appeared to be cool, but was really cool, like stand the test of time, I probably would be in a relationship. But I haven't met that man yet. I mean, they come across as cool until you get into some serious, like moral, um, I don't know, outlook, viewpoints, sexisms, about genders. Something always comes up that's a major turnoff. So I just don't. I just haven't been interested. Yeah, I have a friend, and like she used to want to be married, but she same thing and met with a bunch of knuckleheads. But she just bought herself a house, bought herself a nice little 2-bedroom townhouse. She got herself a nice car. She got herself a nice job. She got herself nice clothes. She goes where she want to go, do what she want to do, and her friends, other friends, they do the same. And so some of them are in relationships, some of them aren't. But they go places. I don't really go with them because they're her friends, and I don't really know them that well. She's my friend. I met them, but I'm not like friends with them. So when they go on trips and stuff, I don't go with them. But that's the kind of lifestyle. And she's not stressed. I mean, she just skin is just glowing, and she sleeps well at night. And these are kind of things you hear like from a lot of married women. They're exhausted. They look tired. Um, they're stressed. Their husbands don't hold up their end of the bargain, so they end up doing way more, having way more responsibility than they should, considering they're supposed to have a quote partner. It's just really it's inequitable. And so I feel like shit, if I'm gonna be single and do this shit by myself, then I'm gonna be yeah, me too. You even see them on TikTok, the people that have the least be the most generous in sharing what they got. So, it's like, what are you supposed to do? You know? What do you do? So let's move on. Let's take a look at the next question. Yeah, it's very peaceful. Like I said, if you have a good partner, you have a good guy, and I don't mean good man like the way that they say I'm a good man because I have a job and a car. So I mean a really good man who's supportive. He's there for you emotionally. He's there with his with actions to make sure that you're not overburdened or hurt. He listens to you. He respects you. These are things, and you would think that that's an easy thing to get. It's not. So like I said, you meet these dudes and they seem pretty cool on the surface, but when you dig deeper is when all the flaws start to come out. And I just feel like I'm at the age now, I just don't feel like compromising or settling or adjusting. I'm not training you. I'm not going to, educate you, teach you, nothing. Yeah, they don't dare because they feel they're good just because they have a job, a car, in their own place, and good credit and maybe never been to jail or something like that. But I mean, by that standard, then most of y'all are good men too. That's all the qualifying that it takes. That ain't shit. Let's move on. Question number, oh my God, how can I only be on question number 11? Female 28 to 34 from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Summer issue. Deb, for men, is it really nook nook or nothing? Please be honest. Absolutely. I've already said that. You know, I've already said that. Especially you on them apps. I don't know what y'all be doing on them apps. That shit is just strictly for entertainment. It was bad enough when they had the dating website before they got the apps where you just swipe and stuff. It was bad enough. At least you had to read the profile or something. But now, I mean, the dudes, I don't know. I just feel like dudes who are on these apps are just something's wrong with them. They can't meet a woman in the wild. They don't know how to talk to women. So they use these apps. That's what I think. So y'all be careful with them damn apps. Okay, so she says, I'm in my late 20s. I'm super late to the dating game. I've been in 4 relationships, and it's been hard for me to have nook nook, but my exes were usually patient. When things got rocky, they would say things like I was a tease or nothing ever happened physically. For me, just making out was a lot, so those comments left me confused. It got kind of bad that an ex of mine got really forceful when I wasn't feeling well, so I had to break up with him. Ooh. Fast forward to a couple of months later, I'm seeing someone new. We've made out, but I don't want to have nook nook yet. I told him I'm uncomfortable with going back to his place and doing things waist that I am comfortable with going back to his place and doing things from the waist up. Oh my God. He's in his 30s. He said it's no fun for him because he will get the tennis balls that are colored blue, and he doesn't want to handle things himself. You know what that means. He said either it's nook nook or nothing, and that he's fine with waiting for me to be ready. He says he wants some waist down stuff or something else. He said we weren't in high school anymore. I told him that nook nook still hurts. And okay, I'm not, she put way too much detail in here. And he says that he's not going to use a C. Oh, is that what he said? Well, he definitely ain't getting none. I'm just really confused. I've dated men, and yes, they would suck a bit if I stopped things when they were super turned on. But Nook Nook has never been decided from the get go when I would get intimate with them. We would aim for it, and if it happened, great. And if it didn't, I would give them a oh. Now I'm thinking that they just put up with it because as time went on and I was able to have Nook Nook sometimes, they become unreasonable with me during arguments. And I think that if I just let them do whatever they wanted, even though I didn't want it, they'd treat me better and the relationship would have lasted. I'm starting to think that men only stay in relationships because of Nook Nook and that this guy is just being honest with me. Both exes who ended things with me in the past did it because they wanted to sleep with hotter girls who would be easier to sleep with because they were more experienced. They came back though because they missed my personality, but the damage was done. Is 70% of relationships for men just Nook Nook? I'm losing hope in dating, to be honest. I'm starting to date hating men. Start to hate dating men. Well, then date women. Shit, what you want from me? Yes, some girl wrote here last week saying that dating women was, she dates men and women, but she said dating women was better. So maybe you should try that. I don't know what else to tell you. But this kind of stuff here, this kind of pressuring and stuff like that is so disrespectful. And yeah, that's what they want. But there's people in the line of work. You pay your $50 or $100 and they will do all that for you. There's no need for you to go on with a woman who's telling you that she's not interested in that because she's looking for something more. And then you get mad and start trying to pressure her into it, or worse yet, get aggressive. See, that's when you need a bullet. And you can't say nothing because you shouldn't have been acting like that. You know? Yeah, they like it. I mean, women like it too, but that's beside the point. You get to pick who you like it with and when and how, because it's your body. They don't get to command nothing. And like I said, if they want to command something, go pay the fee for somebody who's in that line of work. And they will ask you what you want, and then you pay it and you get it. Real simple. But this stuff right here, this is the kind of stuff, dudes be playing fast and loose with their lives because you just never know. Some of these women are crazy. And you will just bleed out somewhere or be like going to the, what you call it, to the morgue or something. You mess with the wrong woman. You all better get yourselves together here. This is crazy because these women every day, and I see online, it's some woman done off some man because he did some sideways shit. And she's like, not me. I'm not the one. Question number 12. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Jackson, Mississippi. Summary issue. What do I say to a guy if he asks, what did you do tonight if you was on a date with someone else? What would you guys say? That's an interesting one. Okay, let me think about. I'm currently very single and ready to do something fun or something serious. I have like 3 first dates this week, and with one of the guys who I'll be meeting on Friday, we're texting a lot. He willingly shares everything about his day, and honestly super into that. But I honestly don't want to cancel a date because someone else is texting me more. So my question is, what do I say? I'm hanging out with friends or like I'm meeting a pal/buddy, a term that refers to a not that close friendship. And if he asks, what did we do I just say we did what we did minus the romantic activities? Or was I at home gaming alone, not looking at my phone? For future reference, I do sometimes text back while gaming, so that's not a good lie. Do you have any good advice? All my friends are either married or in 10-year plus relationships, so they really don't know how this works. So what would you guys say if a man asked you, "So what did you do today?" and you was out on a date with somebody else? What would you say? Oh, just a little this, a little that, nothing really important, just fits around, you know. Went to work, came home. Or you could just say, "I it's none of your business," but that's gonna be hard if you tell her everything about his day. Well, so she thinks he is anyway. So that's why she probably is asking because this guy is like, he's sharing all this stuff, but they're having a first date, so that means she hasn't really seen him yet, right? So you got to be careful with this kind of stuff. But they try to make it seem like you guys are oh so close, and you just you haven't even met him yet. I hung out with a friend. That's a good one. Yes, they do Hong Kong, Hong Kong. Let's see what Giggle said. I hung out with a friend. That would be her response. I think that's a good one. Because seriously, since you're not a boyfriend, girlfriend, that is all he is a friend. Not with a friend. We went and got a couple of drinks and stuff. But then be prepared for this. He's going to say, is it male or female? What you going to say? Better have your answer ready. I say neither one. It was a gorilla. It was a Martian. In other words, I'm not answering that question. I'm going to tell you something stupid. And hopefully he would be have enough sense to know that means I'm not going to tell you. Let's move on to question number 13. So look in the chat uh, to see the answers that they put um, to your question. So this is a young man in the 22 to 27 age group from Hayward, California. Summary of issue. They said something very weird to me, and I don't know how to take it. It's just super in my head right now. Okay. The other night I was on a first date I've had in a few months. Overall, I had a nice night, but decided not to date her again. She just wasn't great in conversation, usually not following up much on stuff, even when I answered or asked questions. But there was one moment that stuck out to me. She is black and asked if I had any black friends. This isn't weird in itself. Most of the black women I've dated have asked me something similar, though it's usually if I've dated other black women before. I guess it's part of racism detection. Part one to make sure that they're not being fetishized for their race or something. So I told her the truth that I do have some black friends, but not a lot. And most of my friend group is white. And then I factored in my dating life and added the following. A very strange thing about my experience so far is I've never gone out with a white girl. It's not on purpose, mind you. I've matched with a few, but the conversations just never led to dates. All the women I've gone out with have been people of color, mostly black. And when I told her this, she said, "Yeah, you seem like you'd be a black anime fan's boyfriend. I don't know if I could see you with a white girl." Oh, that was rather forward of her. Huh. Yeah, it's fair to be curious, but curiosity killed the cat, and plus, your curiosity does not obligate anybody else to satisfy it. He says, "I don't know what the fuck to make of that. The statistics of my dating life are already weird, but this is a whole new layer. I'm so baffled. I'm not even sure if I should be feeling insecure over it. I know I should probably just ignore it and move on, but I guess now it's got me wondering about like if other people have this idea of the kind of person I should be with, or if I am quote worthy of end quote, I guess. And if that means there are kinds of people I'm not quote worthy of, and what kind of weird bullshit goes into these ideas, and what it says about our society. My God, dude, you doing all of this to yourself over one sentence? I feel like I'm in the middle of some kind of societal minefield all of a sudden. And it would be like irresponsible not to consider it, but also maybe it's all bullshit. I'm just in a weird headspace right now. Oh my God. I want you to get your running shoes on and go out and run 20 miles. So you'd be too tired to think about all this nonsense that's going through your head. Let me see. When she said, I could see, you seem like you'd be a black anime fan's boyfriend. I don't know if I could see you with a white girl. Is she an anime fan? Was she trying to make it? You see, this is the thing that's the thing that's so specific. So that's what makes me think: is she an anime fan, and she's like saying that she could see you as being her boyfriend, but you wasn't feeling it on your end. So now there will be no date number two. That sounds like what she was saying to me. That she could see that because of your dating history and what she thought was you guys was vibing. Either that or she's not an anime person and she thinks anime people are weird and corny and that you're weird and corny and she could see you being a black anime girlfriend boyfriend because then y'all could be weird and corny together. So it's one of them two things. I'm not sure which one. I just don't know which one. But either way, you are determined that you're not gonna do it, not gonna see her again. And so along with her disappearing from your life, you should also disappear any and all things that she said. Okay? Don't think about this anymore. This is silly. This is goofy. Question 14. This is a female 22 to 27 from Washington, D.C. Summary issues. Should I drop my friend who is friends with bad people? I'm 25 and I have a female friend who's 30. Was really attentive and supportive during my breakup. Helps me with a lot of issues and we have a lot of deep talks. The only thing is, I think she may be male centered. I told her that a mutual friend of ours basically admitted to SA and told us that he kept dating her to keep her quiet. Wow. I told her about this and I was baffled and honestly disappointed because I thought he was a decent person. I've come to realize he doesn't respect women, but is friendly and cute, so he gets away with it in many circumstances. She was surprised when I told her this and she seemed sad. Ever since I told her, though, she still hangs out with him and kind of glazes over the whole situation. I feel like this is a huge red flag. It makes me sad to lose her because, in some instances, is a great friend. We didn't have set plans to hang out today, but had talked about it and asked her what time she wanted to hang. She never responded and posted a picture of her helping him and his roommates at their apartment. Can I get your take on this? What would you do in this situation? Oh, yeah, I would dump her. Let me tell you why. What hit my mind as soon as you started telling me about this girl who's old, 30 years old, you're only 25, and she hanging out with somebody who's admitted to being a criminal who assaults women, and she and his friends. No, no, no. You don't want no parts of that. And the reason why is you could be with her, and then she gonna take you over to dude's house, or dude's gonna come to her house with his buddies, and it's gonna be all bad for you. So you don't go nowhere around this girl anymore, and you don't let her come anywhere around you. A very clear line has been drawn. She does not care about her safety or the safety of any other women with a man who admitted that this is what he did to some other young lady. And he thought that she was so funny, he just gonna keep dating her to keep her quiet. So now that you know what kind of character he has, and she wants to be friends with somebody with that kind of character, you do not associate with them. You do not go anywhere with them. You do not put yourself in any kind of situation where you could be vulnerable to them or their friends. Be very clear on what I'm saying here. This is a very dangerous situation for you. All she did was get sad when you told her. That means she likes him. She likes him, and you dash her her thoughts. She don't choose between him and you. She chose him. So you stay away from her. If you don't listen to nothing else I say, you better listen to this, because the next thing y'all has to be in a world of trouble behind this silly hoe and that raggedy ass dude and his raggedy ass friends. This is not. I'm glad you wrote. Okay, but be very clear on this. This is how you understand how people are, how they think, and what's important to them. What's important to her is him, not you. What's important to him is him, not even her own safety. So you stay far the fuck away from both of them. Okay. Question number 15. This is a male in the 18 to 21 age group from Joliet. Is that how you pronounce that? Joliet, Illinois. Summary issue. Seeing a girl and she updated her dating profile photo. Does this mean anything? You're seeing her. We met on a swipey thing and seemed to hit it off on the date, and we switched to chatting on Instagram, and we have a date coming up. I went back to our swipey thing chat to see something that she said to me and noticed that she had changed slash updated her photos on there. Can you help me? Well, sir, come on now. Hold on a second. I know you're young, but you can't be this dumb. You went out with somebody 1 or 2 times and you've been chatting with them. Okay, did y'all have a conversation about being a couple, being exclusive, being a commitment, seeing where this is gonna go? We're gonna do this. We're gonna cut other. Did you have any kind of conversation like that? If the answer is no, then your question here is totally inappropriate. What she does on her dating profile is none of your business because she ain't your girlfriend. She's just somebody that you went on a date with. Very much a single young lady. No commitments to you or anyone else. So I want you to rein in your expectations here. And until you find the nuts to go and make something, you dated her enough to even know if there's somebody you want to be in a relationship with, and then you find the nuts to, ask her about it, what she feels, then you don't have a girlfriend. And she can update her dating profile 25 times a day if she wants to. That's her red wagon because that's her. And she's single. She ain't your woman. All right. Well, she could file a, but it's hearsay. She has no evidence. See, this is why, but she knows that's a character statement. It's not an admission that she is not admission of fact. And if the girl it happened to didn't think enough to file a police report, what is somebody hearing about it years later going to do? So there's no, you can't file a police report. They wouldn't accept it. You don't have any proof that this happened. See, you could just be down to the police station making up some shit. They're gonna be looking at you all kind of crazy. Well, when did it happen? Well, where did it happen? Well, what happened? Was she hurt? You don't have no facts. So what would you put on your police report? You're not gonna do that. Question number 16. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Lansing, Michigan. Some issue. I feel like I need to be sexual or act super sweet and childlike to keep guys interested. You do? Or you got to be doing all that? You don't need them. I've noticed that when I talk to guys, especially over text, I tend to either act really sexual or really childlike. Wow, that's kind of, yes, major ick. Like I'll say flirty or explicit stuff to keep them engaged, or I'll act all sweet and innocent or even helpless because I feel like that's what they find attractive. I didn't really notice I was doing it at first. It just kind of became a pattern. But now I'm starting to realize that I do it because I'm afraid that if I don't, they'll lose interest. But what are they interested in though? They're interested in a fake fantasy that you're presenting. It's not really you. So what are you going through all these changes for? This is low self-esteem at its grandest, chick. You need to stop. I'm afraid if I just show up as myself, I'm not trying to be sexy or cute, I'll be too boring or too much. It sucks because I don't always want to act like that. Sometimes I wish I could just be normal, weird, curious, smart, whatever I actually am, and still feel wanted. But I guess I could convince myself that I have to shrink down, play dumb, or be sexually available to keep someone's attention. Wow, this is sad. Do other women talk about this or is it just me? How can I start breaking out of this mindset and feeling enough to say, well, this is beyond the scope of this little internet column. Even though I have a lot of experience, I cannot practice medicine. So what I'm going to do is tell you to go find yourself a therapist and start working on your self-esteem because right now you're in a position where like I always say, there's two kinds of people in this world, two kinds of people. There are people who are inner directed and there's people who are outer directed. Now, what do I mean by that? Outer directed people they look for people to validate them, to reassure them, to flatter them, to tell them that they're good enough, they're cute enough, they're pretty enough, their body's good enough, that they're smart enough. You're looking for other people to tell you about yourself. Once they tell you something good, it blows up your head and you feel good about yourself. Now, if those people stop doing that or they don't do it when you want them to, then you don't feel good about yourself and you feel like a roach and like you have to go through all these changes, do all these tricks to get that kind of attention from somebody. Very dangerous for young ladies, very dangerous mindset. You set yourself up to be gamed so much by having that neediness. Inner directed people tell themselves that they look good, that they're smart, that they're capable, that they're strong, that they whatever, they're talented, they're intelligent, whatever they tell themselves that. They are confident that there any challenge that comes their way, they can overcome it. They don't shy away from new experiences, new people, new situations. They dive right in. They might be a little bit nervous, don't get me wrong, but that nervousness does not stop them from doing it. They just pump themselves up a little bit like, yeah, you got this, you can do this, and then they go forward. That's confidence. And unfortunately, a lot of young people these days just don't have any. They don't have any at all. And your letter is highly representative of that. So you're doing all these things, doing all this stuff because you want these men to like you and think that you're attractive and pay attention to you. And I need you to ask yourself, what is it that you think being attractive and having attention from random strangers, they ain't paying you, there's no bringing no benefit to your life. What in the world are you doing all this shit for? You need to ask yourself that. Because for me, if I had to change who and what I was just to feel like some randos are giving me attention, I would hate myself. I'm being blunt. I would hate myself. Because what I do, when I meet randos and I don't feel like I want to be bothered with them, I tell them about themselves. I say, well, why, you don't talk to me like you care about me because I don't, says Deborah. Well, other women, this one maybe you need to go on over there where they are then. Because what you asking me to do ain't gonna never happen, son. I don't roll like that. I mean, if you do something fantabulous, I'll tell you it was fantabulous. But you think I'm gonna just be blowing smoke up your ass and big up in you just because you swinging? It don't work. I'm not that kind of chick. You got to do some shit for me to think that for me to give you a compliment. You're not gonna just show up and I'm gonna start praising your ass. Fuck out of here. Where they do that at? That's desperate women that do that because they want a man to like them. So yeah, please get you a therapist. Well, you would praise him if he's done something fantabulous. Like, you have a guy and he does, okay, just for instance, I had a boyfriend like this, okay. He did not know how to cook. He did not know how to cook, but he was on his mind that he was going to cook me dinner for my birthday. So he started cooking he took lessons with his auntie. She taught him how to cook. And so he made I mean, he taught him how to grill, his uncle taught him how to grill the steak and everything, and he made some little vegetables and some salads. So I tell you, this man could not boil an egg. So this might be a simple dinner, but we're college students, you know what I mean? We're young. And so he put forth the effort to learn. Okay, I gave him some credit. I gave him some credit. Well, you don't always have to sleep with them and have children with them and all that kind of stuff. You might just be a classmate with them or something. It might be a neighbor, it might even be a relative, and you still don't have to praise them. But anyway, you're going into a side conversation. I'm not going to do that with you. I have another agenda. We'd have to talk about that on another time. No, your mama is the problem. That's the problem because she had you. That's what's really happened. You want to come on my channel arguing with me about some bullshit? Fuck out of here. Now, I done told you. I have an agenda here, and I'm doing that. Now, you either listen to the letters and toe the line or get the fuck off the channel. Those are the only two options here. Okay? I don't tolerate this kind of bullshit. Simple minded little donkey. Now, let's move on. Question number 17. She's 22 to 27 from Killeen, Texas. Summary of issue. Explain what a guy means when he says this. I went on a first date with this guy and things went really well. He told me he enjoyed our date twice. We kept in contact pretty much every day since our date, and he actually invited me out again this weekend. So on Sunday evening, we're going to hang out. But after he texted me, invited me out, he said, but I feel like I should tell you, I'd like to keep things slow and how things progress with us. I'm just starting to date again and working hard to get things set up in my life. So I'd like to start as friends and go from there. Not looking to hook up or get physical either. I just want to focus on the things I need to focus on. But I do enjoy your company and would like to see where things go. What do you and the squad think? Uh, this was on your first date. You kept in contact every day and he invited you out again this weekend. So I'm wondering why you should having a problem with that. Why is you having a problem with that? This is how dating should be. This is what a man who's on his grind, trying to focus on furthering himself as a young man and positioning himself and stabilizing himself should be doing. Because the ones who put all their attention on chasing skirts are the ones who have problems later because they don't have a strong foundation and they find themselves in their 30s and 40s still working some Mickey Mouse job, don't own nothing, have a raggedy little bucket car and stuff like that. You want a guy who's going to be focused and driven. So, and for him telling you he wants to take things slow and he's not the kind of want to jump and band and stuff, I mean, that means that he's telling you he's a more serious minded guy and he's not going to perform like that and don't have those kind of expectations of him if that's what you're used to. Because a lot of young ladies do. They think if the guy doesn't like want to jump their bones right away, that means that there's something wrong with them, that they're not attractive and he doesn't find them interesting or it's crazy. Instead of saying that, well, maybe you've met a man who knows how to respect you and put time into developing a relationship with you. You don't see where that could be a positive thing. So I would, if you like him, just continue to see him. You're not committed to him, so you could also date other people without a problem, and just keep this in mind. He wants to take things slow, but he did not say that you guys are going to be a couple. You know, you're not going to be a couple, so you don't have to worry about that. You're not going to be doing a couple things with him. That's what he's telling you. Okay. Question number 18. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group from Knoxville, Tennessee. Summary of issue. What are the most common fails you see on first dates? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What are the most common fails that you've seen on some first dates that you've been on? Just type it in the chat. I'd like to see what you got to say. What would you say are the common things women experience that make you know you don't want a second date? For example, I often find men not asking questions or that they'll make an insecure joke that makes the whole date awkward, like saying, "Oh, did you double book me?" What kind of shit is that? Can you ask some of the squad to share their thoughts and you share yours too? Well, I just did that before I even knew that you wanted me to. Revealing too much fart. Shut up, giggles. For me, is you know drinking, smoking, anything, and getting, drinking to the point where they just are like slurring words and inebriated. No, that's giving off lush vibes. I can't do it. I also don't like men that be on their phone. You're supposed to be on a date. We're supposed to be spending time trying to get to each other, talk, get to know each other. And you on your phone, you giggling and jumping up, talking to people and sending texts and shit like that. No second date for you. Guys to start telling, yeah, the talking too much is a thing. Start talking about like their exes. I don't give a fuck about that bitch. I don't want to hear about her. I don't know. That's irrelevant and immaterial to what's supposed to be happening right here, right now. So, my thing is you people talk about what they thinking about. So if you talking to me about some bitch, that means just what you're thinking about, which means there's no room for me in your head because she's already there. So that's no second date. If they come smelly, dressed inappropriately, dirty fingernails, fucked up teeth, hair got lint and shit, poor grooming. Nope, no second date. Might not even make the first one because I'm gonna take a look at that and be like, oh, I'm out. Um, what kind of other things have I left behind? Oh, dudes who try to pull that, they ask you out and stuff, and then they be like, "Oh, and your half is," or "Let's go Dutch." Wait a minute, didn't you ask? I mean, not like I don't never go nowhere with no money, and I have my credit cards with all kind of money that I could spend on it, but I'm not trying to run my credit card up like that. But if I had to, I'd throw my card down and pay for my. I'm not tripping. But that that little thing where they be like, you pay your half is this, or we're gonna go Dutch and stuff. Motherfucker, no, we not. You asked me out, and this, so you gonna pay. And then what else? I kind of think of what else. I don't know. Oh, showing up late. Showing up late. We not having no second date. Like I said, I will sit there. Yeah, I will say, Kiki takes one. Yeah, that's a good one. Any kind of complaining, I don't want to hear it. But if you show up late, like you tell me, okay, I'm gonna be there. It's meet at 6. Okay, so I'm there at 6. At 6:15, you call. Oh, I'm on my way. Okay, now, but by now I done ordered me a drink, right? I'm ordered me a drink and some appetizers. So I'm happy until that's gone. When that's gone, you better be there. If you're not there, then I'm leaving. Unless I really like the restaurant, then I might just order me some food and stay there anyway. But it just depends on my mood. But in any case, you late past the 15-minute grace period of any restaurant, there's no second date, even if you show up. If you don't, it's obvious there's no second date. But if you do show up, we're still not gonna have a second date because your time management skills are very poor. Yeah. So, those are my things like right off the bat. And then there's other things like you find out more about the person, during the conversation with them on the date that lets you know that this ain't a match. Oh, worse yet, girl, Kiki, when they say, yeah, females, y'all females. That's an instant no second date. And like I said, that's likely to be oh, let me get up and get the fuck out of here moment. Yeah. Let's move on. Question 19. We kind of easing towards the end. We got 25 questions. Those of you who are new here, um, this is what we do. It's 25 questions, usually anywhere between 24 and 30 questions a week. And let me put this up here too. While we're at it, if you want to send your question in, that scrolling across the screen right there is how you do it. You just log on to Debsterism.com. That's Debsterism.com. Click the link that says Get Advice and fill out the form. Press send, and your letter will come into our mailbox. And my lovely cousin Candace will go and pick through the letters and pick which one she wants to put in the column, which she does, and then she emails it to me and I print it out, and that's what I read. And the trick about this is, see, I don't see the questions until I'm reading them. So you hear about the questions, you hear about the situation at the same time I do. So all the answers that I'm giving you are just off the top of my head. Sometimes I probably could come up with something better. I admit it. And sometimes, the viewers have something to augment the question, the response to. So between the two of us, we got you. Okay, we got you. Really, Michelle? Michelle? Yeah. The worst one was the guy who was late picking me up, and I went on a date with somebody else. When he came, he got there. I was going downstairs to get in the car with some other dude. He was too through with me. I'm like, that's when I was young and really cute. So I was like, I had dates coming out I would have so many dates, it was crazy. Like 2 dates in a day, sometimes three. And just, I'm like, I wish I had that time back now, but it was fun. I got to meet a lot of interesting men and then, a lot of interesting people. Some of them were like, because it was San Francisco. So some of them were, like in from other countries. Like my date with that Japanese guy. Oh, that was like the best. He was so fine. I still kick myself. Like I should have went to Japan to visit him. Yeah. Good for you, Michelle. Michelle. That's what I'm talking about. You don't take no disrespect from these clowns. So let's move on. Question number 19. She's 22 to 27 from London. Sorry, issue. Something odd is happening when I tell my boyfriend about my boundaries. My boyfriend and I are both 27 and have been dating for about 4 months. I truly adore him. We've always communicated well and haven't had any serious conflicts, but lately something strange has been happening when I share my boundaries with him. As we've gotten closer and told each other more about ourselves, I've mentioned specific things that I like and don't like. For example, I don't like when someone eats off my plate. All of these boundaries are things I haven't felt the need to mention or express before because they just haven't come up as an issue between us. The problem I'm having now is that it seems like my boyfriend is going out of his way to do the very things that bother me. I gave the food example because it is the one that's giving me the most trouble over. I struggled with the disordered eating pretty badly in my teens and early 20s. Thanks, anxiety, and it's only in recent years that I've started to eat normally. That being said, I still struggle with portioning my food without counting calories and generally just eating intuitively, which is why I don't like it when someone eats off my plate. If you've never had an eating disorder, this may seem totally silly, but as I'm learning to trust my ability to eyeball correct portions and balanced meals, it just really bothers me and throws me off if someone is taking random bites off of what I've served myself. One day I'll probably grow past this, but I'm kind of embarrassed by it, which is why I haven't mentioned it to my boyfriend. It hadn't come up at all. We always just enjoyed our food. We ate together, and that was that. But now that I've mentioned this boundary, my boyfriend either insists on taking bites from my plate or tries to eat off of the same plate and insists that we share a glass to drink out of. Sometimes even try to get us to share a fork and pass it back and forth as we eat, which I'm not interested in doing. Yesterday, I went to eat a cookie, and he took it out of my hand as it was on my way to my mouth and told me, "You don't need to be eating this." I'm in good physical shape and eat healthy 80% of the time. I'm not sure what the issue is. I told him he wasn't going to dictate what I eat, and he apologized and said he was just trying to look out for my health. No, he wasn't. When I've confronted him about the food sharing, he told me that it's just who he is and that it's selfish not to share food. Also, want to add here, it's not like I'm serving myself a plate of food and telling him that he can't have any. There's always plenty to serve himself. He just wants to eat off of what I put on my plate. Can you please tell me how I can resolve this? All the other aspects of our connection are lovely, so much so that I do want to work through this and not just break up. And I just want to know how I can effectively communicate that this boundary and others are important to me. I've explained my past with disordered eating to him and approached it in the most open, honest way possible, but he didn't get me anywhere. Your help and support I appreciate. See, this is what kills me about you girls. You think that these men don't fucking understand what you just said. They understand English, French, German, whatever you speak it to them, whatever language it is. They understand very well what you said. They don't give a fuck. That's the part that you girls just are not willing to accept. You write me saying, "Well, how can I communicate this? How can I tell him? How can I explain?" Even though you've tried 999 different ways already, and he's still doing the same thing, that ought to tell you everything that you need to know. He does not give a fuck. So were it me, but when he started eating off my plate, I would throw it in his face. I said, "You want it so fucking bad, here you go." And he'd be wearing that food. And the same with the drink. I'd splash it in his face, I'd throw the food on him too. And then I would get up and walk the fuck out. Now, why would I do that? Because A, I told you this is a boundary for me and you completely disrespected what I said. B, you disrespect me over and over. C, you know I have an eating problem. This I'm trying to get myself together here. You should be helping me instead of like fucking up my portions that I've laid out for myself and try to put me back into an eating disorder mode. So, you're trying to make excuses for him. Oh, but I love him though, and everything else is lovely. Your relationship cannot be lovely when you have a man who blatantly disrespects you like this. I don't know what it is that you think is lovely about a person who treats you like this. There's nothing lovely about your relationship. It's full of disrespect. But what you're doing is making like bending over backwards, like I always say, because once you girls, it's so important you to have a boyfriend that you accept blatant disrespect over and over and over again, just so he won't leave you. You should be forcing his ass out. Put him in the wind, as we used to say in the 90s. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like that, what's that game where they used to say, fight? It was some I can't remember the name of it. It was a big game in the late 90s. And they had like you pick these little kung fu people and you got something. I can't remember the name of it right now. But me and my daughter used to play it sometimes. But um that's what I would do. And you think I'm kidding? I know me. It wasn't called Street Fighters or something. It was called something else. I don't know. Yeah, put them in the wind. That was the phrase in the late 90s. Some people in the wind like a kite. Just shoot. But yeah, I just would not tolerate that. You're not gonna eat off my food. If you want this plate of food so bad, motherfucker, here you go. Now you just eat it as much as you want to, and I would go and get me a different one, and that would be that. And he'd be like, "Why did you throw your food on? Because you wanted it so fucking bad. So there you go. You just can't get your own. You wanted to eat mine, so there you got it now. Okay, I'll get me something else. Better yet, I'll probably get my car and go home. Tekken, yes, that was it. That was the name of it. Tekken. Thank you. That's why I couldn't think of it. It's like, who named something that? But yeah, just seeing that, just like that is the name of it. I haven't seen that since what, 99 or 90 something. But yeah, we used to play that when she was little. Unbelievable. Question number 20. We're winding down. Oh my God. She's 22 to 27 out of London. Summary of issue. My friend, he's 29, touched my waist and hip several times. It made me uncomfortable about our friendship. How do I deal with these feelings? It's my birthday recently and had a bunch of friends together in an outside pub setting. Oh, in London. Oh, that's probably nice. It was very casual and fun vibes in the early evening. I was wearing a nice and tight fitting dress which showed some, not loads, of skin. About half of my friend group is Muslim, this friend included. I mention this as it is relevant as to why I feel uncomfortable. This friend has been a close friend for 10 years now. I'm also friends with his wife, but she couldn't come as she had no child care. I have no romantic interest in this guy at all. I'm not attracted to him, and we've never had a flirtation, physical or intimate relationship at all. On my birthday, however, he kept putting his hand quite tightly around my waist, and at one point in the evening, he grabbed me by both hips to, quote, move me out of the way when someone was walking past. I felt immediately uncomfortable with this. I don't know whether I'm just being too sensitive, but this crossed a boundary for me. And why didn't you say anything to him? See, you when he put his hands on your waist the first time, you're supposed to say, keep your hands to yourself. Do not touch me. But you didn't do that. So see, when you girls don't speak up and you have men like this, he was testing you. That was testing a boundary. The fact that you didn't say anything made him think it's okay, because otherwise you would have checked him, but you didn't. So he did it again. He did it again because you said several times, and then he advanced to get closer to your booty. So now he's putting his hands on your hips to move you out the way. Next, he's gonna grab your ass just cheek to cheek, palm to cheek. I mean, and then you have to speak up. And you take his hands and fly him off of you. You tell him, don't fucking touch me. Touch your wife's waist if you want to be touching somebody. Keep your hands to yourself. Something like that. But you sitting here writing me this long-winded letter about this stuff and it crossed my boundary. But did you communicate that to him? No, you didn't. I don't like being touched by men. But who I'm not pursuing or dating or in a relationship with. It just makes me feel icky. However, I've never experienced it with a close male friend before. I don't really have many straight male friends or male friends, full stop. So I actually don't even know if it's normal for male friends to do this with their platonic female friends. I think it just feels doubly weird for me because A, he's married, and B, he's Muslim and shouldn't be touching women like that anyway. I think his wife would feel really upset if she saw that happen and would also feel terrible. And I would also feel terrible. To add more context to the religion thing, I have a lot of best and close Muslim friends, and whenever I'm at large gatherings in this community, I always dress modestly and never get too close to the guys out of respect. I'm used to also doing this not so strictly slash formally with this friend. For example, I never wear a bikini in front of him. One reason I think it's icky is because I think he, at least subconsciously, saw me wear quite a fitted, cute dress for the first time and maybe thought it meant that I'm a bit loose now or something. I really don't know if I'm overreacting, as it wasn't like he slapped my bum or tried to kiss me or something. But I don't know. Hip waist touching feels quite intimate. I really don't feel like I can broach the subject with him at all. Like I said, I'm not even sure if this was a super conscious thing for him. We also don't have the type of relationship where I could actually bring this up without it being super weird or sounding extremely confrontational. You're just looking for a bullshit ass excuse to not do anything. I think I just need to take some space from him at the moment and try to regroup in my head and maybe just distance myself a bit more generally. It makes me sad that even a very platonic friendship with guys doesn't actually seem to fully register with them. And they'll always become distracted by your body or something. Ugh, I don't know. I'm confused. Help me. You're not confused. You know exactly what time it is. You just tried, like I said, find a weak ass excuse to not do shit. And you're going to take the coward way out. But I'm going to distance myself. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. But is that the answer to this problems? Yeah, he's a tester. The first waste of the test, the hand on the waist was the first test. Then he did it again just to verify. Then he did it the third time because she said several times. So several means more than two because she would have said two. So several means at least three. Okay, then he advanced. Okay, when he got away with that, then now it's getting good to him. He's like, ooh, I get to touch a different woman's body. So now he's gonna put his hands on her hips. So he's getting close, sliding down, getting from the waist to the hips. Now he's getting closer. There he's gonna go down to the booty. See where this is going? I know where this is going. I wasn't born yesterday. But see, at that moment, young lady, men are stupid. And this one, you think he didn't know what he was doing? He knew very well what he was doing. This was all his agenda. And you understood it, but now you're trying to downplay it and play it off like he didn't know what he was doing. That is the biggest mistake women make. If anything, when they do stuff and they really don't know, you should still be charged them with a crime because he should have known. Because in the age of the internet and stuff, everybody knows how to act. You putting your hands on other women like that, especially if you're a Muslim married man. What the fuck is you doing? So you better tell tell your friends what he did, so the word will get to him that you didn't like it and that you are gonna avoid him. You want all this come So more people know what he did. Right now, you're the only one that knows, and me, I guess, and there's listening. But you need to tell your friends, did you notice so and so did this? I really didn't like it. It made me so uncomfortable. To the point where I don't want to be around him anymore right now. That's the story that you're going to spread. So it will get to his ears and hopefully get to his wife too. That's what you want. Yeah, they be trying to test, but you got to tell them this straight up. Usually when I have a male friend, I just tell them straight up. It's like, we're friends. And I'm gonna treat you just like I do my female friends. That means ain't gonna be no funny business because I don't kiss women, I don't sleep with women, and I'm not gonna kiss or sleep with you either. So if you can deal with that and you still want to hang out, then we can hang out sometime. But I just want you to understand what time it is. And I never changed my mind. Because if you was gonna make the cut to be something more than that, would have happened a long time before now. And that's what I tell them. Yeah. See, yeah, plus Casey, plus it put everybody on alert that he did some egregious shit. So he can't hide in the shadows. Everybody gonna know. That's how I would play it if I were her. I would start dropping them lugs. I'd be oh so sad and confused and hurt that he did that. And why did he do that to me? And I would play that shit up and I would be the most beautiful thing on two legs. And then I would sit back and wait for the gossip to rein his ass in. He gonna be so humiliated, and that's how he should be. Question number 21. This is young lady 20 to 34 from Cincinnati, Ohio. The male is 35 to 41. So I have an issue. My boyfriend wants me to only watch movies with him, and I'm starting to feel suffocated and resentful. I've been with my 40-year-old boyfriend for almost 6 years. I am 30. And he gets angry slash upset anytime I want to watch a movie with someone else, friends and family. To give some context, he loves movies. He watches everything from rom-com, action to drama. So I've respected his wishes and watched every movie he's wanted to watch with him for the past 6 years. I've turned down watching movies with family and friends numerous times simply because he wants to watch it with me first. Let's do that. Oh, see. I must not be girlfriend material because I would never do that. I do love and enjoy watching movies in theaters with him. It's one of our favorite pastimes. But I think it's incredibly suffocating that he takes issue with me watching a single movie without him. For example, he's abroad in another country right now, and a female friend invited me to a movie screening. Knowing that he would take issue with me going, I reached out to him to talk about it. But I'm starting to feel resentful that I have to do this to appease him or feel guilty for going, even though he wouldn't be here to go with me anyway. He's not one to compromise, and frankly, he's never shown that he cares about how I feel about this matter. What do I do or say to him to improve the situation? You tell him that 6 years that you spent watching movies only with him is over as of now and going into the next quarter. So the quarter ends in June. The next quarter starts July 1st. You tell him starting from July 1st on through the rest of your life, you will watch whatever movie you fucking feel like it with whomever you please, and he just gonna like it. That's what you should have told him before. You should never let men dictate your life like this. I don't understand what you girls are doing. Why? Who controls what movies you watch? Who is that even important? That to me is like the ultimate test to see how much power you're gonna give him over you. And but for me, he's in another country. I would have went to that screening and not told him a word about it because he didn't need to know. Why you gonna call him in some foreign country to tell him yourself? You sound stupid. You should have just went to the damn thing, and then if he heard about it later, then he could have heard about it. He would just been mad. It's like, well, you wasn't even here, so shut the fuck up. What you think I'm gonna do? Not go because you in bumfuck try Tribeca somewhere? I just don't. I'm gonna do what I need to do for myself. You just gonna do what you do. And don't think that he's in some foreign country. He ain't watching movies without you. So you need to. I don't know what you're doing. You. Question number 22. This is a female 20 to 34 age group from Chesapeake, Virginia. The male's 35 to 41. Some issue. My husband ruins everything with his extreme emotions. He displays extreme anger, sadness, and even around other people. Histrionic personality disorder. I have a video about it on this channel. Look at it. His behavior affects me a lot. I feel embarrassed even when he gets angry at a restaurant staff. Shows extreme sadness over something silly. Yeah, textbook, textbook. My husband's not a baby. He is 37, but shows extreme emotions and sulks about little things like a 2-year-old. He does it with others too, and sometimes I feel like he has no control over it. He sometimes is helpful and goes out of his way to help, and I'm left confused with this mixed personalities. We have a less than 1-year-old baby, and I'm worried these constant arguments over silly things will affect his childhood. His extreme behavior messes with my mind. I'm worried it will do the same to our child, and that breaks my heart. But then what the fuck you have a baby for? You knew you was married to an idiot. What you bring a baby into this hot mess for? Today, he has got extremely defensive over a game and kept saying that he had one turn left. At the end, I just said, take the turn and move on. But he just won't move on and ended up not competing in the game. He is also extremely unorganized and throws everything on the floor. He's not capable of keeping anything back to where he took it from. And this ends up making the house messy, which affects my peace. And after 7 years of marriage, I am done looking after him. I'm not sure if he has ADHD. Sometimes he is sweet, but it doesn't last long. He is available to help everyone else, but very stingy when it comes to spending time, money, or doing little things for me. I'm left confused and unable to leave or stay happy. You can leave, you just don't want to. You one of them kind of women that just like to suffer, have some shit to talk about, because otherwise you would do something about this. The main thing, yeah, she got two babies. I just don't understand because she had to have known that he was like this before she married his ass, right? And now you are married to him and you got a kid with him, which I really don't understand what you did that shit for. And now you're trying to figure out, is this how my life is going to be like? You should have made that decision before you got pregnant. So you could have deuced out and been and had a clean break. Now you're going to have to deal with child support and visitation and him not showing up or him fucking up the kid mentally and emotionally with his antics. I mean, it's just a whole, it's going to be it's just all bad. You made some bad decisions. The first one was staying with this man, and the second one was having a kid with him. You know, I don't know what you did that for. Why did you do that? What you probably should do is consult an attorney and start figuring out options so you know can do out of this. Okay, that's what you need. Question 23. We got 23 to 4. This is three more questions. Thanks everybody for coming and sitting in with us on this lovely Sunday Father's Day afternoon. This young lady is 22 to 27 from Clearwater, Florida. The young man in question is 28 to 34. So, an issue. My boyfriend keeps taking jabs at my clothing, even after I told him I don't like it, and I feel stuck and unsure what to do. You're supposed to leave him. Why do you let a man disrespect you and mock you and ridicule you like that? And they be calling these dudes their boyfriends and sleeping with them and claiming they love him and all that stuff. I dumped a guy because he asked me about my eyebrows. Remember that? I'll never forget that. Sitting up there, we supposed to be going to lunch. We looking at the menu, so you know the date did not last long at all. We hadn't even ordered. And so they bring, we sitting there and then they bring you the menus, right? So we looking at the menus. This clown is going to say to me, you need to get your eyebrows tweezed. Now, if this is my eyebrows. I don't tweeze. I don't do anything with my eyebrows. This is how I was born with them like this. Okay. I don't touch them. I don't put no pencil on them. No, I don't do anything to them. I occasionally might put some moisturizer on there or something. That's it. So this is my eyebrows. They've been looking at this since I was little. I think they're a little less thick than they used to be, but he's like, well, you should, reshape your eyebrows also. I said, okay, wait a minute. Who died and made you the eyebrow sheriff? And he's like, well, I think they would look better. I said, I don't give a fuck what you think. I got my purse. I flung that menu down, and I stood up and I left. That was it. Never saw that monkey ever again. One thing you're not going to do is criticize me. And I could see this was our first date. And the first, I think I talked to him on the phone a time or two. I don't remember to tell you the truth. But this was going to be the first time I was going to see him since the night that I met him. And so he wanted to take me to lunch at work, lunch hour at work, because I worked at Barcadero Center at that time. And so I met him at downstairs in the restaurant that was the Bank Exchange restaurant. And so we're eating there. We're supposed to eat there. And then that did not happen. That didn't happen. So, he was just astonished. I could tell by the look on his face. But it's like one thing, see, what young ladies have to understand when a man starts trying to position himself to dictate what you wear, how you look and stuff, when they throw those things out like that, it's a test. Well, I think you would look better like this. You're supposed to tell him, motherfucker, I don't give a fuck what you think. Who told you could think anyway? That's beyond your skill set. Don't be trying to show people your disability, trying to think and shit. You don't have the skill set for that, especially when it comes to me. Okay, you're supposed to shut that shit down like immediately. Well, they want to see if it's a test to see how desperate you are. If you kind of one of those kind of women who needs a man and is going to be looking for validation and acceptance and everything from him, he knows if you bite, then he has your ego and your mind and your body in his hand like this because you gave him your power and yourself. You put more stock on what he thinks about you and what you look like and what you wear than you do yourself. And once you take that step and you give him the control of your reins like that, it's all bad. It's all bad for you. I like that, Michelle. Michelle. Yeah, I just was just so through. And this other dude, we was at a bookstore, and he's up there talking. We were looking through. They had a Black Hair Care magazine, and at the time, I had this kind of where it's like cut on the side, but it was long on the other side. And he's looking at it. It had some cute little like Halle Berry type of cuts. And I was thinking about cutting, the other side to match it, but I hadn't said anything to him about it. I mean, he didn't need to. I just met this clown, and we at the bookstore, and he's like, "Oh, I think you should look good like this with your hair like this." And I said, "Same thing. I didn't ask you what my hair should look like, did I?" Well, no, but I just think. I said, don't think anything for me. I think for myself. I was more gentle with him because I was older by then, more mature. But still, same thing. Shut that shit down. You're not gonna tell me nothing. Yeah. Oh, just like these dudes. So you ladies, you got to be very careful about that. Shut that shit down promptly when the first time they do it. The first thing that comes out of their mouth, trying to, direct anything about you and what you do, who you talk to, where you go, what you wear, you like makeup, like anything. You shut that shit down and tell them get back in your envelope and stay there, because you're not gonna dictate nothing here now. So, and then she got a man who's stingy with her and stuff. I don't know what she doing with this clown. Question number 20. Oh, the jabs. Okay. He keeps taking jabs. So my boyfriend of 9 months doesn't like it if I wear certain types of clothing, stuff that he feels is too tight or revealing, or even full glam makeup. He's fine with lipstick and eyeliner, but anything else is overkill to him. He's brought it up multiple times before, and each time I tell him to cut it out and not comment on my clothing. Good for you. For context, we're from a semi-conservative country, and I'm already pretty careful about what I wear. I like wearing form-fitting clothes, though, but it's not something that shows a lot of skin. But he feels tight clothing is too revealing. We'd gone out recently. I was wearing a full sleeve turtleneck and jeans. The turtleneck was long, like thigh length. Oh, okay. So it covers your butt. So I show up and I know I look amazing. I'm not a very chubby person, but neither am I skinny. I know I have some extra fat on my body, but I'm honestly not self-conscious about it. And this turtleneck isn't sticking to my belly either. But the minute he sees me, he asks me why I'm wearing this, said I don't look good and that I should lose weight if I want to wear such clothing. Wow. You in the full on attack mode. And it looks awkward and I should wear loose clothing till I lose weight. Tell that motherfucker I'm about to lose 165 pounds just in the next 5 minutes. Because you know what? This shit here between us, this shit is over. Boop. Okay. I'm out. That's what he would have got from me. Notice how quick I thought that up? See, it's like I don't even have to think about what kind of bitch I'm gonna be to these men when they start trying to be like an asshole to me. It just flies out of my mouth. I can't even control it. I can't stop it. It just flies out. Ooh, what a jerk. This time he didn't even bother responding to what he said and just nodded. Gave him a thumbs up and we continued on about our day. But he just couldn't let it go. He attempted an apology saying he didn't mean to hurt my feelings, but he was just speaking his mind and the outfit didn't look good on me. I sent a pic to my friends and they said the outfit was fine. Honestly, I don't know what to do or if this is even a thing worth breaking up over. It is. But it's tiring and frustrating every time he makes comments like this when I feel amazing about myself. Another time at a wedding, I had a full face of makeup, sent him a picture. He said I looked like the Joker. Wow. The thing is, everyone else said my makeup was good. The bottom line is, I don't give a fuck what everybody else said or what he says. Do you think it looks good? That's the only person who counts. It's your face, it's your body, it's your clothes, it's your style, it's your make. It's you. It's what you want to look like. If it makes you happy and you feel, as you say, amazing, that's all that I needed to hear. So you roll with that. Okay, you did a good job when he was complaining. You just did a thumbs up and went on about your business like he hadn't even said anything. That was good. That was a good move to make. But what you're gonna have to do is tell him, you know what? When you do that, I'm the next time you do that, um, I'm going to break up with you because one thing I'm sick of is your attacks on me. No woman should be within a relationship with a man who's always attacking her. And so you got one more time. And no, understand the second that you do it, understand when the second that comes out of your mouth, we're done. So you just figure that how that's gonna work. Yeah, they know better. They know better. They just do it because they try to see if they're gonna let them get away with it. Question 24. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Hartford, Connecticut. The male is 28 to 34. Summary of issue. I feel resentful that my boyfriend is not resilient when it comes to his career. My boyfriend is 28 and I'm 27, and we've been together for a few years. He grew up in a safe environment compared to me, where he had loving parents that took care of him. I grew up in an unstable household with poverty, abusive dad, etc. This basically shaped my life as the eldest daughter who had to grow up fast. When I sought out my partner, I thought it was all green flags that he had such an amazing family and a supportive environment. The problem is he's been trying to shift career paths, so he got a new job at a well-known company, and he's extremely distraught because it wasn't what he thought it was turned out to be. And by distraught, I mean breaking down in tears. Wait, what? Anxiety attacks and extremely depressed. This has been going on for weeks, and it's really hard to see him go through this. I've been trying my best to be supportive, and I have not outwardly shown my resentment in any way. I've been trying to coach him, though, as I'm a lot more advanced in my career than he is. And I understand that mental health probably plays a big role in his feelings. And he's made appointments to see a therapist, but nothing is happening fast enough. He wants to quit his job, but he also quit his last job for similar reasons. I'm trying to encourage him to power through it so he can gain some resilience. The job itself is not difficult, in my opinion, as it's relatively entry level. My question is, how do I stop feeling resentful towards his feelings? You don't. I'm a person who has overcome significant hardship to get to where I am now. In addition to the poverty and abuse I have in a very difficult career field, I also feel I am also really good at dealing with things under pressure, and I consider myself extremely resilient. On the other hand, I find myself comparing my experience to his and feeling resentful that he's so fragile. I get that we both have very different upbringings. I'm not trying to force him to change overnight or give any ultimatums. It's just that I want to be there for him without feeling resentful or annoyed at the way he's reacting to all this. To me, his reaction is over the top and unbecoming of someone that I want to have as a future father of my children. I know that sounds harsh, but I can't help but worry that the burden of difficult times and decisions will rest on me. Good thinking, excellent mindset. I've been frustrated with it as there's little that I can do besides talk him through it. And the other issue, I find myself often in my masculine energy where I can't really depend on him. And that's not something I want to be all the time. I want to be able to feel like I'm being taken care of, or at least that there's a balance. I need to reiterate that I don't want to leave my man. I love him sincerely. We've been together for a few years and we plan to be engaged and married soon. What do I do? You gonna wake up. Because you talk about we plan to be engaged and married soon. Why would you want to be engaged to a married man like this? You just said all these negative things about him and his lack of resilience. Basically, he has no spine. He has no resilience whatsoever, and he has the determination of a weasel. Shit, probably weasel probably got more. So what you talk about, you have to be in your masculine energy. You'll be taking care of him and the household and any children that you had. Like you was everybody's mama. That's your future. While you focusing on marriage versus focusing on the man who would be your partner. There's nothing about this guy that indicates he's going to be able to step up and be a toe-to-toe partner with you. You know that. You just wrote everything about it. And yet you want to insist on, on this being engaged and married to this idiot. Read, go back and listen to this so you can read hear what you wrote. And I want you to listen to it 10 times if you need to until it sinks in about the kind of man that you're with. You are wasting your time. And this thing, this resilience is a personality trait. You either have it or you don't. Because people who grew up in your situation, some of them could have crumbled and end up in prison or on the street, as a drunk or living in some crack house or something. I mean, you have resilience and determination in spades. Nobody can touch you if you put your mind to doing something. That's the kind of spirit that you got. You overcome all kind of adversity to make it to where you are today. And you got somebody who's going to drag you down. He's not going to help lift you up higher than what you can do by yourself. So you need to understand what time it is and leave this fool alone. Okay, I know I'm sounding harsh and you talking about what, but I love him though. If I had the dollar for every time some woman said that shit, I'd be a multi-millionaire. Y'all be loving to say that. But I love him though. I love him. I didn't want to break up because I love him though. He want to quit his job. What's he supposed to do for money when he quit his job? He gonna be dependent on you. That's what I tell you. You're gonna end up with take care of him and any kids you got. I just don't understand it. This boyfriend talking about, well, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm like, okay, well, what you gonna do when you quit it for money? Don't look for me to give you sit. Well, you wouldn't help me? Nope, sure wouldn't. Well, would you at least give me some groceries? Nope. You better go to the soup kitchen or get it from your mama. I'm not about that life. I don't help men. You wouldn't even help me. No, we're not married. I'm not. Uh, you just a boyfriend. I'm not gonna help you. I'm not going through no changes to support you. But I don't roll like that. Men need to be men, and that means you need to take care of your own self. You're supposed to be taking care of me. I'm not supposed to be taking care of you. What kind of bullshit, reverse role shit is this you talking about? I'm not doing that. So he didn't quit anyway. He was just testing me to see if would take care of his ass. I quickly told him no. I don't do that, and don't ask me for shit either. Yeah, I ain't gonna be unemployed voluntarily. I mean, it's not like the company closed up or surprise bankruptcy and his paycheck was held or something, and now he got to go to court to get it. The state's gonna intervene and step in. It's not like that. He want to go in the office and quit just because he don't like it and it's convenient. It's one thing if people, your building burned down and now y'all can't go to the office. Everybody got to try to scramble around to figure out how to work from home or get a temporary office or something. And in the meantime, you just need 2 weeks to help float you or something like that. Different situation. I probably would step up. I'd tell him to hit up his parents first, and then whatever they couldn't do, I might make up the difference, something like that. But in a situation like that where it's an emergency, it's a crisis, but you just want to waltz in there and just quit on the strength of because you want to? I don't think so. And our last question of today, then I got to go here. I'm making navy beans, but they're going to be cooked, overnight. Question number 25. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group out of Stockton, California. Summary of issue. Is it toxic of my boyfriend to expect me to be with him every weekend and compensate him later if I don't go? Wait, what? My boyfriend and I, both 26, have been dating for about 3.5 years. The dynamic is I go to his house on Friday till Monday morning when I have to go back to work. He lives very far away from my workplace, so I just stay at my mom's. I was planning on moving in with him, but after an argument, I decided otherwise. We had previous discussions about how financially draining it is to be with him since he doesn't work. So everything we decide to buy or eat comes from my salary. Sometimes my entire weekly salary is spent on the weekend with him. And if I tell him we won't buy anything else because I need the money, he gets moody. This weekend, I got some financial help and got some extra money. I decided to not go to his house. Good move. But it's never that easy. I had to go to do something important on Sunday, so I used it as an excuse to be there. And when he offered to bring me and take me on his car, I said I was busy Friday evening and on Saturday, and that it was better for me to just stay put. On Saturday evening, I went to a friend's house and we spent a girls' night together. I didn't tell him because I knew he would say that I'm choosing someone else over him. He also got all moody with his constant texts. I need you. I want to sleep with you. I just sleep. The dog missed you. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. I want us to make dinner together, etc. This is normal for him during the work week. He texts me the same until I go to his place. I kind of feel mentally drained, and the weekend was great to rest. But of course, there's the expectation to compensate him for the weekend that I wasn't with him, and because of his constant texting, I don't feel like I had proper rest from him. Why did you turn your phone off? Is this toxic or am I just complaining too much? How can I handle it if I have time for myself without feeling like I'm getting into time together debt getting into time together debt with him? What? I don't understand what you mean. It's I'm telling you, you're getting used. Um, this boy is not interested in you. You a wallet to him. You spend your entire paycheck on entertaining and feeding him, and you don't see where this is a problem. You don't see where you're essentially paying him to pay attention to you and spend time with you and be your quote boyfriend. That's what you're doing. You're being pimped. So I suggest that you wise up and stop this. What you need to do is never go back to his place again. Tell him you'll go back to his place when he gets a job. Because until then, you're not funding his lifestyle anymore. You have things you need to do with your money. Okay? There's no way in this world. Ooh, if you were my daughter, you were doing some dumb shit like this, I would. Ooh, I can't even imagine how bad I would talk to you about yourself, about what you was doing and what you thought you was getting, what you thought you had with this clown. And how you gonna move in with somebody who don't have a job? I'm glad you rethought that. It's financially draining. Everything you decide to buy or eat comes from your salary. Yeah, yeah, I, I just don't get it. But that's what we're dealing with these young ladies. At some point, I'm going to schedule another webinar as soon as I figure out what topic I want to talk about. Um, it's just so much, the self-respect issue is just what's really at the top of my mind. But I have to figure out a way to, you know, make it do it into a webinar. But the self-respect and how young ladies just don't seem to really have any anymore. You don't respect yourselves and you don't seem to have the skill set or the tools to recognize when you're not being respected and what to do about it. So it would probably probably revolve around that topic, but I have to think about, how I'm going to present it. And so that it's interesting. I don't want to just be sitting there lecturing. I like the interactive stuff. But I think it's time. I think it's time. It's been about 3 years since I did the self-esteem webinar. I just been so busy. I'm doing these nutrition classes now throughout the Bay Area. So yeah, that's my latest venture. You like that one, KG? I think that's what I need to do too. But I'll put up a poll and get some thoughts from you guys about what you think, what elements you think would be good. I'll put it on the community wall in a couple of days, maybe tomorrow, and you can share your input. I like to do it that way because then it goes into Google Forms, and I get it in like a spreadsheet, and I can check off the things like as I add them to the presentation. It makes it easier for me than trying to go call through the chat and all that kind of stuff. Just put it in one place. All right, but thanks you guys for coming. Trying really hard to get back on track. After being gone for 6 weeks, doing my thing and being myself. And again, happy Father's Day to any of the guys out here listening who are fathers, and those of you who have time to spend time with your dad today and let them know how much you love them. And I will see you guys next Sunday, if not before, because you never know. Now, this is my little setup now in my corner of the living room. It's still not perfect. I got to get my lights out of there. But it's coming along in my little corner of the living room. We're just gonna make this work till she moves out. I'll talk to you guys later.